Let's bring in the Shadow Climate Minister now, Ted O'Brien. Thanks for your time. You heard the response from Chris Bowen there to your question in question time. He says it's Australia's jobs opportunity. What is wrong with that argument?
Well, it sounds like a slogan to me, Kieran. He didn't answer the question. I asked the Minister very clearly, can he guarantee that jobs will not be lost, businesses will not be closed? Yet again, he refuses to answer the question. I'll tell you why. We have found out this week in Senate estimates that the Labor Party actually has not called on Treasury to do the modelling on this. No modelling to date has been done on what this Labor thinks is its signature policy. It will drive up prices for consumers and it puts both jobs and businesses at risk. To think that you would take your signature policy, changing climate and energy in this country, to the Parliament without having done the modelling is absolutely reckless. And you can see why Australians are losing faith in this government.
They've got their support of the business groups, though. In fact, the Australian Industry Group Chief Innes Willox said today the Coalition's decision to vote against the changes it had previously proposed and the reported Greens positioning once again make Australia look incapable of reaching agreement on how to utilise assets to build economic success. A form of political extremism is at play. It has cost us before. It could cost us again. What do you say to Innes Willox?
Well, I don't blame him and other people looking to the threat of extremism when you have a very left-wing Labor government. But
he's saying you're doing it.
Dancing with the Greens. Now, they have been doing deals since Labor came to government, and it is bad for the economy. Now, when it comes to our position, Kieran, we've been pretty clear.
Just to clarify, his criticism is the extremism from the Greens and the Coalition. That's the statement, not the government. He's supporting the government's move.
Let me respond. He is talking on behalf of businesses. I have been speaking to individual businesses that will be directly impacted. They are worried that, one, they might have to close their doors. Two, they simply can't get the emissions down. So they will have to pay the tax, which is what it is, and they are going to pass that on to consumers. Now, if any business out there is saying they want to pay more tax, or they can guarantee they're not going to pass it on to consumers, at a time when consumers are struggling right now, we're in the midst of a housing crisis. This initiative is going to bump up the price of steel and aluminium, concrete slabs, all of that, the prices go up. Anyone who drives a car, the price will go up because of the impact on oil. I mean, this is an inflationary measure at a time when Australia can't afford it. And the Labor Party is wondering why we don't support it.
But it's the measure that was put in place, the framework, under the former coalition government.
No, it wasn't.
So the safeguard mechanism?
No, it wasn't. So this, again, another Labor...
But which government introduced the safeguard mechanism?
It's another Labor trick here, Kieran, and let me tell you what they're doing. They are taking an existing coalition framework called the safeguard mechanism, but they're turning it upside down. They're basically hiding in that a new carbon tax. They are moving that from being a voluntary scheme to a mandatory scheme. They are moving that from something that incentivises business to penalises business, and they are moving it to being a taxation regime. And anybody who's looked at the detail knows that. Businesses will have to be paying, and some of these businesses will likely close their doors. Now, what does that mean to jobs? What does that mean to regional communities? And that explains why the Minister today couldn't answer the question in the House. I mean, this is their signature policy. They haven't done modelling on it, and the Minister can't answer the question.
But when you look at the reaction from the business groups, it's not just the industry group, it's the Chamber of Commerce as well. Andrew McKellar says it's not the time for another climate war. They've got the business groups on side. What are they seeing, or what are you seeing that they're not in the government's approach?
Nobody has seen the modelling on this. So nobody has. And if any of the business groups can come forward and say, we have seen the modelling from the government, please do so. So let me be very clear. The Albanese government is introducing the biggest carbon tax this country has ever seen, which is going to drive up prices, push down the opportunity for jobs, risk business closures, and it has not done the modelling.
But when you say push down the opportunity for jobs, do you look at the counter of that, though, where the industries are creating jobs?
So
As the Minister argues, the renewable energy superpower that he believes Australia can become. Are there no jobs in that industry?
Kieran, there is, but it's got nothing to do with this. If anything, the Minister is speaking against his own policy when it comes to renewables, because this also impacts gas, right? So it impacts gas, prices go higher, gas is needed to help the manufacturing of a lot of the capital that goes into renewables. I mean, all of this is building inflation. This is the problem. Labor, yes, went to the elections saying they were going to change the safeguard mechanism. What they didn't say was they were going to introduce the biggest carbon tax that the world actually has. They're introducing a price which is higher than 8 out of our 10 trading partners. This is going to hurt business, hurt jobs.
Ted O'Brien, great to chat as
Likewise,
always.
Kieran.
We'll see you
Thank you,
soon.
mate.